Hey leaders, thank you for leading today. Palm Sunday, April 2nd, which we will not be talking about Palm Sunday, the entry to Jerusalem. Instead, we will be keeping on our Hebrews series with Jesus as Supreme, which, is excellent. And so we will be actually focusing today on Jesus is the promise keeper, which is what was happening there. So, sorry, I have got to look at notes on this one because it's a lot. So we're actually going to pull in scripture from previous chapters today. If you look at the written lesson plan, you'll see several 2:10, 2:14, 3:6, 4:1, and then start back in chapter 6 at verse 9, and then skip to verse 12, and then go from there. And we're talking about what is the promise. It's reminding them, what are we talking about? This salvation, God's rest. What is that? And reiterating that what that is it's me. I have hope in God's promise, which is Jesus, which having that hope leads to belief. Belief leads to hope. Hope leads to trust. Trust leads to faith. Faith leads to action. Salvation. All those, that growth of the belief system leads me to make the decision to believe in Jesus as my salvation and receive his gift, which is God's rest. Not physical rest, God's peace that can settle in my being, that spiritual gift that we can receive for him, which makes us right with him, with being in right relationship with him, which leads to how we live our lives and changes therein. So today we're going to talk about how Jesus can keep that promise, right? So in 6, going back to we're saved, we're going to talk about promises. We're going to use the rainbow. I will probably use visuals on the screen just because we're back to some abstract concrete concepts. And so visuals will help. So I'm going to pop that rainbow up there as that reminder of Noah and God's promise, and that we use the rainbow to remember promises. So we'll talk about that. And then when we get to 16, we talk about when we as humans, we make promises, we're promising by something bigger than us. There's a reason we feel like somebody should believe in us. We've proven ourselves, or we're asking them to trust that we have the authority to make this promise. Using the example, if you kiddo invite someone to my house, or my kiddo invites, as it's written, someone to my house and says, I promise we'll have whatever, that child may look to me to go, yeah, that'll happen, or no, that won't happen, because they know my child doesn't actually have the authority in and of themselves to make those promises, right? So, God is making it clear, the author is making it clear, God's making clear through them, that Jesus has this authority. He has the power. Jesus is supreme. He can keep these promises. He is the only way these promises are fulfilled. And we're going to play off of this verse 18 where it says, run to take hold of the hope set before us. This hope is set before us in God's promise. The hope being salvation, God's rest. That's going to come back up in a little bit. You can read in the lesson how I've broken that down. For the physical activity, we're going to use that tikva, hope, meaning rope, cord, and relate it back to the Old Testament where that's found in Hebrew, where the spies threw the cord out of Rahab's window, and her hope was literally a cord, a rope. That is how she showed that she believed they had the authority and the ability to do this. And so they're going to do knot tying with red rope because Rahab's cord was red. Asher will be there as needed at Hillside in first service. He will be at Huffman second service to help with teach knot tying in case that's a thing. Don't try to teach anything intense. Pretty basic knots, more interesting perhaps than shoe knot. But that's physical activity. Will be knot tying. And creative activity will be bubble painting to make a rainbow. And the instructions are in there. So, good lesson on why Jesus can and does keep his promises. Going to be a little bit abstract, but we're ready for that. So, thank you again for leading today.